Hi guys. Let's see. Trying to. Okay. Hi. So I had you all voting on Instagram about what to do today. And everyone voted for me to do spinning. So that's what we're doing. Welcome to my little cozy and slightly messy craft corner. This is kind of my podcast corner too. So yeah, hi. Let me turn the music down just a smidge, because now that I'm talking it feels loud. Maybe? Okay, you guys, as always, let me know about the volume situation. But, hello! How's it going? Your little comments are like super small, so I am gonna do my best. So, yeah, how's everyone doing? I haven't done a live stream in a while, but I was really missing it. I do have Maple here with me. She's down there. Jumpsuit is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it today. What do I start with? Okay. So, definitely on a spinning kick, right? Because July is Tour de Fleece. Again, let me know about how like the volume and me speaking and everything is, because I'm on my phone, just because that's the easiest way to do this today. But yes, so July starts Tour de Fleece. If you are a spinner and looking, oh, cute. Hi, welcome then. Okay, volume is good. Awesome. Thank you. So if you're a spinner and looking for a Tour de Fleece team, we've got my Discord. We have like a chat going. We've got a team going. And I started a little early. I hope none of you will tell on me for that. Because I have family visiting next week. So I knew that for the first like week I wouldn't get any spinning done. So I finished up this skein, which was a bat from Artifacts of Appreciation. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the podcast episode that's coming up. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I've got quite a bit of yardage. It's basically like a sport. And I'm gonna knit it into socks. So that's coming up. And then right now I'm finishing these beautiful Rolags. Ugh, I'm sorry for the crinkling, I know, it's terrible. So it's these Rolags. They're kind of like teal. They look very cool colored right now. But they're like beautiful orangey brown teal, so that's what I'm working on. And I'm not great at long draw, which is basically like a worsted spun like spinning style. So that's what I've been doing with these Rolags, and just doing and plying them just two together. So I finished my first skein earlier today, which is pretty nice. It's like an Aran weight, maybe even chunky, about 120 yards for 100 grams. Definitely lots of thick and thin. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now is, thank you. I think it's really cute too. I'm really happy with it. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna work on tonight, is just doing some more singles, because I've got this bobbin full of singles already. So yeah, I've been spinning like in the mornings, like as a way to start the day. It feels like very meditative, and we'll try not to bring the mood down too much, but a lot of you know that we had to put Moose down my kitty on Friday. So I will say that spinning has been giving me a lot of comfort and like solace over the last not even a week yet. It's crazy. So yeah, I think that's partially why I've been spinning so much. So yeah, thank you guys. It was really freaking rough, man. I know everyone who has pets knows. So I do also really think Maple is like a little depressed. So yeah, thanks guys. So we're doing okay. I was like doing pretty, you know, as okay as you can. And then yesterday we got her paw prints in the mail from the vet, and it was a little rough. So I actually just got from Amazon. It's basically like a little shadow box that has drawers in it. And it has like a glass door. I don't know how to, it's a shadow box, but it's a little like classier. Like it's not just a frame. And so I got that. I think it's gonna arrive tomorrow. And I'm gonna make like a little shadow box for Moose that has, I like got a new camera and like, I don't know, there must have been something happening because right before I took her to the vet, the urgent care, I took some really, really nice photos of her. And so I'm going to get some of those printed and just make like a nice little shadow box for us and put her toys in it and stuff. So that helps. And like, you know, my family are all pet people. Like we all have our animals. Like that's why I am the way I am. So like my family has just been really supportive and like understanding and helping with the grieving process. So yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing as good as we can. So yeah. And I will say, like, talking back to spinning and not my poor cat. I have not done a lot of this like long draw with the roll lags before, but it goes so fast compared to the short forward draw. So this motion is kind of like pulling back on the roll lag and then letting the spin into that fiber. And I like knew that it was faster, but like the extent to which it is faster, because you're like doing this big chunk of fiber at once instead of where short forward draw is kind of like going like this and like feeding little bits into the into this piece, the orifice, to be spun, and you get like a more consistent spin and a stronger spin for the most part. But yeah, I've been flying through all of these roll lags, and I had like six of these packs of them. So they have 7 per pack. So I'm on the last 2.5 of those. But yeah, kind of flying through, listening to a lot of audiobooks, and just kind of like trying to get a little bit of a head start on Tour de Fleece. So yeah, for the Tour de Fleece team, I was like, we need to come up with a name. It can't just be like MD the Third knitting podcast team. Like, so we were like throwing around names, and we are basically called Spinderellas off of DJ Spinderella. Amazing. Perfect. So that's what we are, and if you want to join the team, you are more than welcome to. We are mostly operating on my Discord server. I think like I did the video description like through my phone, so I don't think it copied all of the data, but once this is done, I will make sure to include the info to join the Discord in the description. So yeah, it's just kind of like logging how much we're spinning throughout July. I think I was like asking people today if I should make a like very nerdy Google sheet to like document like all of our data about our spins and like some photos and stuff. I don't know if that'll happen, but I don't know. We're nerdy. We might be into it. Oh, thank you, Maple. I've been in this room more because this chair is really like the perfect height and everything support, I guess, to spin on my wheel in. And Maple's been hanging out with me a lot in here. Yeah, what are you all working on? Are you knitting on anything? Crocheting anything? Spinning? I like to hear about what you're working on, especially because I haven't checked in for a little while. I kind of like this because I can watch, like when I'm sitting here, just my vantage point is blocked by this piece, so I can't actually see what's happening on the bobbin, but I can see. Finishing your handspun inclinations cowl. Oh my god, I bet that's beautiful. Summer folk tea. Oh, I'll have to look that up. I like thought I was gonna do so many summer projects, and I'm not. So Maria, hi. You're making earrings. Maria, I still can't believe how many freaking Halloween decorations were at Joann's today. I texted my cousin, and so this is another part of like all the chaos that is currently going on in my life is Kay and I are probably moving in the middle of July. We're still figuring it out, and we're moving like into the duplex with my cousin, who is like really into Halloween too. And so we're like, ooh, now we can like decorate the duplex to be like Halloween house. I don't know. So she was like, oh my god, how is all the like outdoor decor? And I was like, well, they have one of those like 30-foot tall skeletons, which I don't think we should get, but it's can you imagine? I think it'll be fun. So yeah, anyway, I need to figure out how to pull the actual chat up because I'm just seeing the chat for like 5 seconds because I'm on my I need all messages are visible. There we go. Okay, let me go through. I know. Okay. Winding up handspun to cast on your first entirely handspun sweater. I can't wait to see that. I know you're gonna show it. How long have I been spinning for? Ooh, I'll talk about that in a sec. Knitted sampler Afghan, working my way through the cable volume of the Vogue knitting stationery. I love that. I've always wanted to do that, but I don't think I have the discipline to do something like that. Granny square blanket to commemorate your move. I'm excited for your move, Kate. James N. Watts rib lace raglan. Ooh. Recently finished an Argyle tank. Ooh, yes. Oh, I bet you it's real cute. I love that pattern. Ooh, yay, I love everyone's stuff. Wait, why? It keeps disappearing. That's so annoying. Okay. Sorry if I miss a message, you guys. Doing this new format, maybe not the best for the future, but yeah, let me tell you about how I learned how to spin. So after college, I worked at a yarn store in the Bay Area, and that's also like where I really fostered my love for natural dyeing. But they also had spinning wheels. They were a shacked dealer, and we sold fiber, top mostly, some different like slivers depending, and I really always wanted to learn how to spin, And I just like, I worked most weekends, and then when I did have a weekend off, I didn't want to be at the store, because that's how working retail works. But when I was finally like had an end date in sight, I was like, I got to take a class. So I took a drop spindle class, and it was so freaking hard. I just like couldn't quite get it. I actually now think it's because my drop spindle wasn't heavy enough, and if it had been heavier, it might have been a little easier for me. But I kind of got it at the end after using, instead of top, some roving, which has a little bit more like friction and resistance. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, step one done. And then the next weekend, they were having a spinning wheel class with the same instructor, who happens to be Brooke of Sincere Sheep. Brooke is just like someone who has been so kind to me throughout my like fiber arts journey, and she's a natural dyer. And so she was teaching the next class, and I was like, I might not get like an opportunity to do this. And so I decided to sign up, and I took like an intensive spinning wheel class and borrowed a wheel. And the drop spindle I really had trouble with, but I took to the spinning wheel so fast. Like, it was just like, it made sense. Like, the drafting, everything just really, I don't know, it worked out. And so I sat, and I just like was like, I gotta practice while I have access to a spinning wheel. And I just spun my little heart out for like a month before I moved. And that wheel was, I think it was a Lendrum, which was a really good wheel to learn on. Like, I think it was a good option. So at that point, I was like really getting ready to move. And I was like, I think I need to see if there's any used wheels available anywhere. And so I went on to like, there was a Bay Area spinning forum on Ravelry, and someone was selling a wheel on there, and it happened to be this wheel that I'm on now, which is an Ashford Traveler. And I really, really like this wheel. It kind of has everything that I need on it. So at the front of it, there's like metal bars, so you can actually place your bobbins, and like it will hold them in place so that you can ply without needing an additional tool, which is called a lazy Kate, I believe. So I can like do everything I need to do with like as little footprint as possible. And because it's so tall, I still get the really like classic, like there's like a little wheel and it's double treadle, but I have some, but it's like still, it's like pretty compact, and yeah, it's just like been the perfect wheel for me. Her name is the Pink Lady because she came with a pink drive band, and of course I love pink. So I've been spinning on her. We drove her across the country to Boston when we moved, and I've just learned on her, and I really love her. I think I will use her for a long time. I've definitely started thinking about like my next like wheel and what I want. And I don't know when that'll happen, because it's definitely an investment, but some of the ones I've been looking at are Majacraft, which is out of New Zealand, Shacked, which is a US company. They have one that is very compact, and the wheel is like faces this way, like away from you. And it's like has like a little traveling case. That's one I've looked at, as well as the Majacraft ones, but that's definitely not like a small compact wheel. I don't necessarily need one, but one of the things that I've been noticing is that my double treadle like pedals are so close together that like it's very comfortable when I'm sitting in this chair. Like the height and just everything works, but when I'm on my couch, I like basically can't spin in it because my knees sit so far apart that they get sore. So that's not good long term. So I would like one that has the wheels or the treadles a little bit further apart. But yeah, so I've done a bit of spinning, but it's never been like the consistent thing. But I find that it's helped a lot with my understanding of how, I guess, like what different yarns and why their constructions work better for certain things, and what it is about them that like makes them better for certain techniques or fabrics, all that good stuff. Especially as like a yarn dyer and someone who's like selling yarn like in a retail environment as my job, I'm like, this is why this one rocks, and just, yeah, it helps with that understanding. It's also, I would say, one of the fun parts is like how it allows you to play with color, because it's really unique to be able to create a yarn completely from scratch. Dyeing is one thing, but when you can like take different fibers and do stuff, I think that's one of the reasons that Spin Cycle is so popular right now, is because they're basically creating, they started doing hand spun, so that's really where their like ethos comes from. But it's a commercially made hand spun, and not everyone wants to spin, so not everyone has access to that yarn, and they've really made it available, which is really cool. Yeah. Any other spinning questions? Feel free to ask. And I, again, will be talking a little bit more about spinning in the next podcast episode, which I'm hoping will come out next Friday. We'll see. Because I have family coming to visit, like I mentioned, so it's going to be a little chaotic. We only have we do have 2 bedrooms, but they're small bedrooms, so, and one toilet for 4 adults and 1 child, so truly, wish me luck. I don't know why, you guys, the messages show up for like 5 freaking seconds. Do you find spinning or knitting to be more soothing? I tried spinning, but the wheel didn't like me. Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to. They serve different purposes. I feel like in general, knitting feels more social to me because, spinning is kind of similar to me as like sewing, where you like need a pretty big tool to be able to do it, and so it's not as portable. That doesn't mean people don't take their wheels places, but I think they just serve different purposes. I do find spinning very soothing, and I find knitting soothing too, but I think spinning is inherently more of a solo art form for me, craft. So in that sense, it really does give me time to think, and just like the repetitive motion. So at this point, like, I think knitting isn't quite so challenging for me. Like, there's not a lot that I don't feel like I could do with knitting. And spinning feels like a whole other can of worms, so there's that element too, where I feel like I am learning and challenging myself when I am spinning, which is a really nice aspect of it. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. So excited for Tour de Fleece. As a brand new spinner, I love team sports. Woo! I know, Kate, I'm excited too. Good luck. I've had multiple groups of family visiting for about 6 weeks. I just want to have my home back to myself. Oh my God, that is a long time. I don't blame you for feeling like that. Luckily, they will be here. They'll just be here for a week and it's going to be super fun. We're going to have a great time. And then my mom is coming after that, but we'll be fine. We'll survive. I got a drop spindle for Christmas. But have yet to give it a try. I need to do some YouTube video research. Yeah. Through our live streams, I've been recommended Jilly and Eve a bunch. I've watched some of her videos when I like have a specific spinning question and I really like them. So she's a great person to check out. And I've also loved the book Respect the Spindle. I can put a link to that if I remember in the video description. But yeah, that's some good places to go for resources. And one roll lag, another roll lag down. I do have to say that I was talking about this in the Discord, but there are some silk neps in this that are kind of driving me crazy. They're just a little too many of them, but we are persevering and doing pretty okay. Ooh. I also downloaded, so if you are all not familiar with Ply magazine, it's a great spinning publication. And one of our Discord friends told me about an issue that they did specifically about spinning sock yarn. And oh my God, I loved it so much. One of the people, which is like, this is exactly what I wanted, and of course only in like a spinning magazine. One of the writers did a bunch of swatches where she did, so I think the tests were like a 2-ply yarn, a 3-ply yarn, a chain plied yarn, and then some other like more like in-depth yarns, like, you know, 1 Z twist with 2 S twists and stuff. And then she like finagled a sander that you would use to like sand wood into a box and like strapped the swatches down so that she could like agitate them for as long as possible to compare which one of the spinning preparations, or not preparations, but the spins, the yarn constructions would last the longest. It was great, and I can link that issue. But yeah, it's Ply, and it was like the sock issue, and it was definitely worth it to give it a read about like which spin and fiber is like the best for spinning for socks, which was really fun. So I spent like, I think that was like, that must have been Sunday morning. I spent kind of reading about that, which was real fun. Kay was laughing at me for being a nerd, and I was like, yeah, what about it? Sock nerd. Thank you. The sander, it's giving me Mythbuster vibes, right? I would love knitting spinning Mythbusters. I don't think I have the like the perseverance. No, not perseverance, but I don't know. I just don't like to get, I like to read the research that other people do. I'm not the scientist myself. I'll say that. I like to know the info, but I wouldn't necessarily seek to do that myself. Don't have the patience yet. Does anyone know any other queer knit podcasters or content creators? Yeah. Everybody, drop links. I mean, we know and love B of Maker B. You guys, I know so many, but I can't think of any right now. You guys, queer podcasters, we have them, we know them, we love them. We can't think of them. Oh my god, and Maria, I hope you noticed that I'm wearing my little Yeehaw ghosts. I was going to text you a picture earlier, but I was wearing them, and I get so many compliments when I wear them. Oh, I love them. With this jumpsuit, like, please. Please. I also almost wore my, like, shiny cowboy boots, but I was on my feet for, like, 4 hours at work, and I was like, can't. Those are special occasion cowboy boots, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I was at Joann's specifically looking for some fabric for a, basically okay, how do I start this? There's a sweater that I've been eyeing that I just adore. It's like a striped collared sweater. Frustrating because it doesn't have the best size inclusivity, but I'm like going for it because I love it so effing much, okay? And I'm knitting in superwash, so it's gonna stretch and like, etc., etc. But I'm so obsessed with thinking about this sweater that I have created like a mood board of outfits that I will wear with the sweater. One of the outfits that I'm envisioning is these sewn pants that I've made before, but I want them, they're like big palazzo pants, and I want them in a green velvet. And I have like a 60% off coupon at Joann's, so I thought I would go because I saw some on their site. I went to look at it in person, and it was, the color just like wasn't quite deep enough, and they were really stretchy, and it was just like, it wasn't quite right for what I wanted. So we forwent the velvet, but this is when I was at Joann's seeing amazing Halloween goodies, and so I ended up just getting like a little bit of Halloween quilting cotton because I am going to make a Halloween quilt. Will it be done this year? I don't know. Maybe next year. Maybe the year after that. But I am collecting goodies, and they're so cute, the fabrics. And one is basically an homage to Moose because it's like a little fluffy cat amongst pumpkins. We love it. So yes, that is what I ended up walking away with, which was only like $15 worth of stuff. I also got a new quilting ruler because mine is like, after you use it for a while, the edge is not straight anymore, so you have to replace them periodically. And this was a smaller one because I'm kind of hoping I can like cut some fabric while I'm like watching TV instead of like being at my big cutting mat. So yes, that is what I walked away with. Oh, and I got a bag that has a little cat on it with the witch hat that says, what does it say? Creepin', you're creepin' me out. I don't know why there was so much Halloween stuff, but I'm not mad about it. Halloween time. It's not Halloween time, but. Oh, let me see. I saw a message come up. Oh, I don't know Alex is on fire. Okay, that's amazing. Shamelessly say me, but I don't think I count as a podcaster anymore. Maria. Yes, you do. Plus, you have an amazing backlog that people can look at. Green Velvet does need to be that super deep dark green. Yes, I totally agree. It was just like, there was too much, it was like weird, like the little fibers were very white. Thanks for hanging out, Kate. I know it's late for you. We'll talk soon. Yeah, you know, like when the fibers on the velvet are not like dark, but actually very light. See, look at how big this clump of silk is. That's too much. It's not always like that, but I do have like another source for green velvet that I'm hoping will be better, but after seeing this in person, I think I do need to order a swatch first just to make sure that it's gonna work. And it's like okay if it's stretchy, like they're big pants and like we want to be cozy, but this was like very stretchy in one direction. So, and I need like 4.5 yards for it. So, you know, it's an investment. You guys, Maple is cracking me up. She's like, can we see her? I'm sorry, I'm outing you on camera. You were very funny for a sec there. She's like, Mom, why are you embarrassing me? But she'll sit in front of the fan when it's hot on her back and just like it's blowing all her belly fur. It's pretty cute. See, this is just like too much silk. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it for a bat making party that me and Tim are gonna do later this month. Is anyone planning on going to Rhinebeck this year? I am not. It's definitely not happening for me this year, but I was just thinking about yarn festivals and whatnot. Or I guess even if it's not Rhinebeck, any local festivals that you are planning on going to, because it's basically sheep and wool season. There was one in Oregon this past weekend, but just everything that happened with Moose, I canceled my plans to go, which was the right decision. There's always next year. But there's one coming up in August that I'm hoping to make it to in Seattle. Not going to Rhinebeck. Something called the, oh my God, why? no. Your yarn crawl, amazing. We love a yarn crawl. Whoa. Oh, I have to move this. All right. Three states wide, but you're not supposed to be buying yarn. Well, I'm just a little bit of a yarn ban, but we'll probably do the Maine yarn cruise this summer. Is that what they call the yarn crawl up in Maine? That's cute. I used to really like, I don't even know if it's still there. Knitted Wit Knitwit maybe. No, rhyme by for me, possibly a local one here in Asheville, but honestly, yeah. Yeah. I think, like, you know, there is like a point when we can get yarned out too, you know? Imagine an actual cruise of only knitters. Well, there are knitting cruises. They do exist. I had a friend who taught on them for a while, which is pretty fun. Yeah. Yes, I'm serious. Yep. 100% they exist. Google it. Google it. I think there's ones, like there are tropical ones, but I think there are like, it kind of makes more sense to have ones that kind of go through Scandinavia. But yeah, there's a lot of yarn tourism. 24 shops around the state. Yes, yeah. But 24 is a lot. And through the whole state. Wow. I know there's like Rowan Tree Travel that does a lot of like yarn tourism. But there's definitely more than just that. One of my very good friends and former roommates moved to Copenhagen during the pandemic, and I have been wanting to visit her. That would be a fun yarn tour city, I think. Yarn tour area, even. I think so. So one of my coworkers at the knitting store has started a book club, and I was like, oh my god, you guys, I want to be part of the book club. And so I got to pick the book for this coming month, and I gave a few options, but the one that we decided on was When Women Were Dragons. You heard of this book? Essentially, like, there's this like mass event where a bunch of women became dragons, like scaly, like fire breathing, and people like aren't talking about it. So it's like a fantasy book, but it's like a feminist fantasy book. And I haven't started it yet, but I'm very excited about it. It sounds really good, and I know it's been getting a lot of good praise. Jennifer, I think, who is in our Discord, just finished it and said it was really good. So I'm very excited. It's been on my list for a while, so it'll be fun to read it and chat about it with folks. And I will definitely keep you all updated about how I liked it. I'm also reading, what is it called? I don't, When the Crow's Away, which is like a really cute like witch Airbnb. I always do this now. Instead of just saying B&B, I say Airbnb, which is so depressing to me. But it's like they're witches and they own an B&B. And yeah, you know, shenanigans ensue, and I've been enjoying that series recently. So I'm finishing up the second book of that. And yeah, I think the distraction has been really nice. And so I've been listening and reading a lot of books. So, hi, itchy baby. You good? Yeah, you good? It's okay. You can be itchy. Okay. I also have never done this before, but I think I'm deciding on how to spin up a quite big amount of like a braid that I have. It is, let's see, this beautiful, I have 2 of these beautiful braids from Hello Yarn, and I love the color, very me. But I just don't know how I want to spin it up. Because I'm like experimenting, right? We're trying some new things. So I'm thinking I'm going to maybe spin like, maybe I'll weigh out like an ounce and spin on 2 separate bobbins, like an ounce each of this. And then spin a natural brown and then a natural white, and then ply it with 3 plies together. I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is that I want to experiment before I like commit to what I'm going to be doing, which I haven't really done with spinning before. I've just kind of gone for it, but I think like I said, there's so many opportunities to play with color with spinning, and I don't feel like I have fully done that. And so I think it will be fun to kind of see the way the colors change with the different kind of plying. So yeah, anyway, just thinking about my next thing always, instead of enjoying the moment. Let me see what these messages say. Hello. There's a wool stock in Copenhagen. It's amazing. A yarn cafe and tea. Cute. Are you guys in the Pacific Northwest getting any smoke from Canada? Oh yeah, you guys are getting a lot of smoke. We do not have smoke here. But yeah, you all, I know the Midwest and the East Coast are really hurting, but no, we haven't experienced it yet. I'm sure we will have our time at some point throughout the summer, but right now we're enjoying the air quality. I know, I'm sorry, it's rough, right? I know, I had a friend who was posting about it, and like people from the West were like being shitheads about, they were like, yeah, well, we blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not a fucking, like, pissing contest about how bad your air pollution is. My God. Um, yeah, it just really sucks. Hope you got your, like, N95s out so that you can at least, you know, not be hurting when you're out and about. But no, at this point, we've been pretty lucky this season so far. I saw one more comment, I think. I'm always thinking of the next thing to knit or spin too, and then I hyper focus and just go like demon mode into spinning because of it. My partner calls it yarn factory time. That's pretty real. Yeah, I'm like, can I just go, I'm gonna go listen to my book and spin some yarn. When I went to pick up this wheel, it was like right at the beginning of Kay and I dating, and they didn't really know much about like knitting community and culture and whatever. And so I had like rented a zip car, but had accidentally done it for like the day before, so I like missed my window, and I was like, shit, I can't go get this wheel that I've been like really, you know, such a good opportunity. And so they were like, I'll drive you. And so we went to get this wheel, and the lady who I got the wheel from, like, I was kind of testing it out before, even though I knew I wanted it. And she was like making comments about how she spins a ton of yarn and now doesn't have time to knit it and all this stuff. And then we like got into the car, and Kay was like, what do you mean you're like making yarn and not knitting with it? Like, and I was like, let me tell you about what you're getting yourself into. And we had like this funny conversation about like just crafting and, you know, stash, and it's pretty funny to think back on. Just don't feel like the silk was very evenly distributed. That's the only complaint I have about these roll lags. In general, they're very pleasant to spin with and have been really nice to practice this style of spinning with. But these big clumps of silk are, I mean, a lot of them I'm leaving in, but in general, yeah. I know, we all have our community, we have our quirks. We don't like to get rid of like little bits and bobs. Yeah, I'm like, what people, who asked me when I was showing off, my mom, I was talking to my mom, and she was like, what are you gonna do with the yarn you're making? And I was like, oh. It was like, not the point. But I also feel like handspun is a good excuse to like make presents and just like stockpile them. whether it's for knitters in your life who appreciate hand spun yarn, that's one way, or just to make like funky hats to gift. We'll see, right? Yeah, these chunks of silk are just so much. I had this idea recently, little bits of scraps to save all of them and then make a greatest hits scrappy sweater. I love that. Take some time to collect and then you don't have to throw away little scraps. Yes. I definitely know, I mean, you know, scraps. Like I've started saving like all the little bits that that I cut off of skeins, you know, like when you're winding them and you take off the little ties and when you're weaving in ends. And I have a big jar full of them. And, you know, Hedgehog Fibers collects them. You can send them your scraps and they'll send you a coupon for their yarn, which is pretty cool. And they use it in their Tweety. So we send a big batch over through the store I work at, but this point it's like I have so many and I know some people take like empty Christmas ornaments and fill those with like the scraps from that year so that they have like a record of what they knit for the year for their tree, which is kind of cute. But recently I saw Lydia from Lydia Makes. I can't remember her handle right now. It's just, I'm totally blank on it. But she like sandwiched a bunch of scraps in between two like basically pieces of like organza so that it's like see-through and then like quilted it to create like this amazing fabric and then like made a coat out of like this quilted fabric with all the scraps in it, which was very, very cool. There's like definitely lots of things to do. I've seen people do rug hooking. Yeah. Look at this bobbin filling up. Oh my god, just the amount of silk. Look at this. Okay. Yeah. saving all of the ends for a clear ornament. Okay, let me read all these. Sea glass sweater is a great option for sure. I like making magic knot balls. Saving all my ends, gonna put them in an ornament. Love that idea, nice way to preserve them. And the clever idea of the quilted coat. Coat idea blowing my mind. Just grab scraps to my knitting students who use it as stuffing. That's also a great idea. Should take a day off from knitting because my wrist has been a bit cranky. Yeah, take care of your body. Get overwhelmed keeping things that I'm not actively using, so it's best to get rid of them for me. Recommend that CBD works wonders on knitting aches and pains. I love that. I have been meaning to try CBD. Actually, might have some salve. Yeah. I've heard good things about that too. I have a great sore muscle salve from Fat and the Moon that I really like, that has tobacco and cayenne in it. So the only thing is it's not great to use on your hands because if you forget and rub your eye, you get cayenne in your eye, which is not ideal. Yeah. Some of these Rolags are not as bad as others, but some of them just have these massive clumps of this silk. And like, it's a little bit of it is nice, but too much of it is not ideal. Between spinning Rolags and or braids, I mean, it's just different ways to spin. It's just, I don't really have a preference between the two. They're different ways to spin, different ways of like combining the colors. Yeah, they're all fun to experiment with. Like, this is definitely a very different type of yarn than I would get with a braid, so that's great. But I'm definitely like, I feel like I don't feel very advanced with spinning. I feel like I'm like, maybe I'm not a beginner, but I feel like intermediate maybe, but definitely far, far from an expert. Not cute, these big clumps. Ooh. Another one bites the dust. Well, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm like, definitely, I'm still kind of like just being tender with myself, you know? And I can feel myself retreating into my little head. And also, I need to take care of my bod because I am a wee bit hungry. I think I decided that I'm gonna go get myself a burrito from the local drive-through place, which will be good. But thanks everyone for hanging out with me. I'm like really glad to be back doing live streams. Of course, my family will be in town next week, so I don't think I will be doing one then. But I will be back sooner rather than later. And again, if you're interested in joining our little Tour de Fleece team, I will be adding, there's always a link in like other videos, and I have it also, I think, linked in my Instagram bio, so sign up for our little Discord server and hang out. It's really fun, and I will have a podcast episode for you next week. But thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for all the kind words about Lil Moose, and I'll see y'all very soon. Okay, bye.